Hey, this is your instructor, Rob Sin, and today I want to talk a little bit about some tips for taking chapter quizzes. So I've compiled a fairly long list of questions I answer over and over, so things that people are confused about. So that's what this presentation is going to be about, just the advice that I give to students all the time. The first one is don't try to interact with a book section that doesn't have any code blocks. And some people are really struggling with this. And let me just show you. So I'm in chapter 1.1. It's a fairly small section. You can see that there are no code blocks, only text. And I'm going to click on UNG Interact. And it's making me sign in just like it will you. Sorry. And I am going to do my two-factor authentication and then pause this so you don't have to watch the whole thing as it goes. And this isn't exactly the black screen of death, but notice that all it does is produce text. There aren't any code blocks, so there's nothing for the textbook to be interacting with. So I just hit the back button and hitting it a couple more times. And here I am, I'm back to the textbook. And the next thing I'd like to share with you is um, So what you want to do is you want to look for a table or graphic that nearly answers your question. Now, one other hint on this, the questions do have a section number with them. So often, if you get something like section 1.3.1, then you can go to the textbook and you can say, okay, 1.3.1. And the idea is to go through here and see, okay, here's a graph that looks for the names and how often they appear in the book. And same thing, that was Huck Finn, and this is the graph for Little Women. You're like, okay, well, they asked some questions about the characters in Little Women, but they aren't asking about the ones in the chart. They aren't asking about Amy and Joe and Meg and Lori. They're asking about other characters. Say, a couple of them that I know are Daisy and Hannah. So let me pause this while it finishes loading, and then we'll talk about how to do that. Okay, so I'm back and I want to show you one of the things that's happening a lot. And people find this chart and they're like, oh, I want to rerun this chart. Okay, shift enter. Oh, and I'm getting an error. Okay, and what's going on there? Well, you have to run all the code blocks, right? So this is important. The book and the notebooks that we give you um, have these initialization code blocks at the top. And until we run everything and then we have to read the books in, the computer can't do these plots. Now it can, but until it gets the books read into memory, it can't do it. So make sure that you run all the code blocks down to the one that you want to work on. And so I'm looking at this code block and I see names. I see Amy and Beth and Joe. And what if I want instead to see names like Daisy and Hannah? Those aren't the only names that you'll be looking for. And then I just noticed this, that Beth is over here too. So I put Hannah over here and Amy's over here too. You don't have to do this, but one of the names is controlling what it's looking for and it's doing the counts based on one of those names, and the other name is creating the legend. So if I do this, then I know that Daisy's dark blue and Hannah is yellow. And I'm sorry, I'm going to scroll down a little more so you can see it. And so I have Daisy and Hannah. That's all we're looking for. We're not expecting you to write any code or create any new code blocks. We're expecting you, or we're hoping that you can find a code block that's really close to what you want. Oh, it's got names, it's just got the wrong names. Maybe I could change the name. So we're not expecting you to write a command. You can just see that we were in here, and we changed Amy and Beth to Daisy and Hannah. Okay. I can't emphasize this enough. Make sure to run all the code blocks in this section. That's a really important tip. Um, okay, so next, sorry, next, um, So yeah, you're allowed to have the textbook open during the quiz. It's an open book quiz. And it's also okay to have interactive sections open during the quiz. So if you take the quiz the first time, and let's say that you get an 80%, but you'd like to, have a 90% or higher, so you're going to take it again. Well, if you remember which sections you found the code blocks in, just go ahead and have those open, and you can have multiple textbook sections open, and you can have the textbook itself open. So you can see I only have one tab here to keep things, well, no, you can't. You can't see up there on my particular screen, but I only have one tab open. But you've got multiple tabs on your browser, so you can have two or three browser tabs open along with the quiz that are pointed to the textbook itself and to the different areas where you might need to interact. Okay. Um, Okay, search. So I've had various students who have said various things like, um, well, I can do the quiz, but for the life of me, this one question, I cannot find it anywhere. Okay. Well, I wanted to show you that there is a search button, and I'm gonna have to go back to the textbook, so we'll see how long this takes. Okay, not too long to get back to the textbook. Okay. And one student was like, I'm so frustrated. Where is the NBA data? I can't, they're asking questions about the NBA. Where is that data? And hey, let me point out that there is a search feature. Okay. And so if you want to find where the NBA is, you can do so. Okay, and then click on it and it will take you, okay, well, that's in chapter 6, so that's probably not what we needed, but it can give us, um, it'll find things like this, and we say, oh, table NBA salaries, so we can search for things like NBA underscore salaries and see where that is, um, and we can sort just based on NBA and get those. So I just want to point out that if you're struggling, there is a search feature to help you find what you need. So again, have the textbook and interactive sections open and know about the search feature and practice using it. You should probably practice using it just so you know how that works. And also do the video quizzes first. Now in my classes, the video quizzes are all extra credit. Okay, so if you do them, you're getting extra credit for your quiz grade, which is helpful. And sometimes, since the video quizzes go over the sections, like video quiz, um, if it says video quiz 2.3, then it's going to go over chapter 2, section 3. That's how the video quiz numbering works. Okay, so if you do the chapter 2 video quizzes prior to doing the chapter 2 reading quiz, sometimes the video quizzes will help. Um, so not every time, I can't guarantee that every time you do a reading quiz, there'll be some help um, in the video quizzes, but often enough to, if you're going to do the video quiz, if you're like, hey, I want to do 3 video quizzes on this chapter because I want a little extra credit for my quiz grade. Well, sure, do those 3 video quizzes first, and it probably, sometimes definitely will help you. So these aren't all the questions that I answer, but they're kind of the big ones, the ones that I've answered more than once so far this semester. And um, again, it's really important, I think, if you're looking at these, let's kind of just go over them real quickly, to look for a table or graphic that nearly answers your question, okay? So the quiz questions are designed to relate to these tables and graphics in the textbook, okay? So as you're reading, just make a mental note of the graphics and tables that you see, so because they'll probably come up on the reading quiz. Again, this make sure to run all code blocks. We end up with a lot of name errors People are like, I'm getting a name error. What? Okay, the name error usually refers to something that's happening because code blocks up above weren't executed yet. And the computer needs to know something from one of those code blocks that it doesn't know. Okay. And then I'm not sure that everybody knew this, but it is an open book quiz. So you can have the textbook text open and you can search it during the quiz. That's not cheating. That's just using all the resources that are available. And again, if you're going to do video quizzes for extra credit, do them first before you do the chapter quizzes. To finish up here, I want to talk just about some things. Not everybody is taking advantage of the resources that are available. And there are 3 online lab help sessions every week, and they're geared toward the lab that's due that week. Okay, so just to let you know, they're on D2L now. There's a link. Click on Start Here, and you'll see there is a link to the lab help sessions. Mine is Tuesdays at 1 p.m. I believe Professor Vellatini's is Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. And Dr. Bailey has one Wednesday evening at 6 or 6:30, I believe. So if hopefully you can make one of these. And if you can, I strongly suggest it because we go over the labs question by question and make sure that everybody gets their questions answered. They are optional. You do not have to attend them, but in my opinion, it's a really good thing to do. Um, so my office hours are Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And if you are on campus already, just stop by my office. If you're out of town, I even have a student who's out of state, that's fine. Because during office hours, we can also have a video chat. That's why I asked to be contacted on Teams, because in Teams, it's very easy to share. Um, it's very easy to share screenshots. You know, you can just paste it in so I can see exactly what you're working on and give you help. Also, if we're on Teams, um, we can switch to a video chat if we need to, if we need to see each other and talk to each other. Also, some people are saying, oh, I've got classes during your office hours. Okay. I do meet with students at other times. Again, this is why Teams is useful. Um, I am just going to say this also, that email is fine, but Teams is better. Why? Well, I have Teams on my phone, and I might be out at dinner with my family on Saturday night, and my phone beeps at me, and I can look at it and see, oh, so and so has a question. And then I can just excuse myself for a minute from the conversation, and I can actually answer that question right then. Okay, so I have Teams on whatever machine I'm on. Um, I have Teams open many, many hours a day and often on the weekends. And so you can see that. Sorry, I meant to kind of circle that, but I didn't do so well. Sorry. um, so, so those are your options for getting help. You can do the lab session, the online lab help sessions. You can do the office hours. If you can't make office hours, we can set an appointment that's mutually convenient. And then talk to me on Teams. We start with a type chat. Again, the type chat is very useful. If I can't quite understand what the error is, you can just copy paste a screenshot and they say, this, this is the error I'm seeing. Oh, okay. And if I see the code block, also remember to paste in the code that you typed that you're trying to get to work and show me um, the error that it's throwing so I can see both of those. And often I am able to figure those out in just a few seconds. And sometimes it does take a little longer. If I'm working on something else, I do have to change gears and get Python open to try to see what's going on. But often I can help you within a minute. So definitely check me on Teams if you need help. Okay, so just a few suggestions for everybody. Hope you had a great Labor Day weekend, and I hope you enjoy this upcoming weekend as well.